Hey guys, this is Jeff on the Entrefied podcast. If you're new to our website, you can go to www.entrefied.com. Entre means entering and fied means satisfied, and we put it together. Entrefied, it means entering into your success is how we define it. We interview professionals, business owners, authors, and we look for those principles, success tips, tricks, even the failures that they went through, and we try to share with our audience. One of the things you can get right now is if you go to our free newsletter down here at the bottom, you'll get our PAR workbook, which I highly encourage you to get that. Plan, action, and repeat is what I often refer to it, or plan, adapt, and repeat. But it has a morning routine, and it has a lot of questions in there that will help you define what you want out of life. So I encourage you to do that. If you go to our website, you'll also see a lot of articles on our website. But I would encourage you to get on our free newsletter. You'll get a lot of great content. We have like 100 and something transcripts that's going to be uploaded of our podcast. So I would encourage you to get the free newsletter, because when they come out, when new ones come out, you can get a notification right to your email with a link to it a lot of times. So guys, I would encourage you to do that. But a lot of those new transcripts are going to be right here on the website. Well, I want to go ahead and get into what we want to talk about today. What I want to talk about with you today is you need a reason to motivate your every day. Let me say that again. You need a reason to motivate you every day. Get around people that make you feel uncomfortable with your success. A lot of people, they don't want to feel uncomfortable. I mean, they get to thinking, well, that person's accomplished more than me, and that makes me feel bad. But what it ought to do is drive you. It doesn't have to always be about money, guys, as far as looking at somebody and seeing what they've accomplished. It can be something that they're doing in their life better than you. Yeah, I said better, because we're not all the same, and we can learn from one another. It could be they do well at a certain thing, such as getting things done. I know several people in my life, that's what they do. They're hard workers. That's what they do. But if you can find a trait to model, it's very important that you have these teachers around you. Why don't you take advantage of it? Because everybody's got something. And if you can start to see who's got what, you say, hey, well, this person's got this, that person's got that. And then you start mimicking. You start mimicking success, is what I call it anyway. Because a lot of people, as I mentioned before, they talk about, the golden touch, I just ain't a lot for that. I mean, I've actually even have, a couple of my family members, or at least one of my family members, say, well, you've got that golden touch. You inherited that from your uncle, or your great uncle, and I just look at it as, if you start to follow certain things, you'll start getting results. You'll start getting better results. And I'm not saying I've arrived or anything like that. I'm just saying that there's certain things, if you do well, a lot of people look at you and they think, well, you're lucky, or, you inherited that or something like that. And I'm not saying you don't inherit traits and things that make you more prone to success in certain areas. But if you'll start to follow successful habits and tips and tricks of things that work in a particular field that you're in, I mean, your success rate may go up exponentially. All right, guys. So find something to motivate you. That's the key. This is where the juice is. I was recently watching a show about the Chicago Bulls, and it was talking about Michael Jordan and how he used to always keep himself motivated, always keep himself pushing. That was a great player. Some people will say the best basketball player. And I'm not going to get into that debate. I think he was really good, maybe the best. I don't know. But what I do know is he pushed himself, according to what I've seen and heard and listened to. I think the guy, he kept pushing himself. And I tell you what, this is very important, guys, because if you look at it like how some people look at it, they look at something like bad and they think, oh, well, I can't accomplish that. The people that are willing to go the extra mile, the people that are willing to take it to that next level, they want a challenge. And sometimes if you're not that person, you can start out on a small scale and start looking at it different. That's one of the things that you can do. You can start framing the way you look at things different. And you may be watching the video on YouTube, or you may be listening to the audio podcast. We do have a video on YouTube if you want to see it. I'm actually going over some of the document that I'm reading from that I wrote about this podcast. So you can get the video or you can listen to the audio, either one. But what I want you to get, I got a lot of content on this, guys. But what I want you to start understanding is you can start reframing the way you think about things. Instead of looking at something like average, people look at things. And I'm not down on anybody. But the average person looks at a problem and they see a problem, in my opinion. They don't see an opportunity. You say, well, there's just so much opportunity right now. If you start looking at all the problems I got more opportunity here. I got a lot of problems. But if you start looking at things different, sometimes the things that you normally would hate, eventually you may begin to love. You may get to the point where you're so good at that you want more challenges. I know that sounds strange, but everybody wants to be in a certain thing. They want to be reaching for that next goal, that other thing that they ain't got. What if you could start doing that in the area that you're in right now? Because this is where you find yourself. And I know I'm going on, and I'll try to be better about that, guys. I'm trying to move on really fast. But try to start working where you're at. Don't think about, I'll do that when I get there. Start doing it where you're at. Start looking at how you can do things better, how you can start modeling those success principles of other people in your field that's doing better than you. Maybe they're not doing better than you. Maybe they're just, there's a certain area they do well at. Look, your life is going by anyway. And at the end of your life, you may say, well, I didn't make this or I didn't do that. But if you start having a good day every day, you'll have something to hang your hat on at the end of the day anyway. So he continually challenged himself, is what I'd heard. And I think it leads you to believe that he was always looking for the next challenge to rise to. I mean, he took a lot of game-winning shots. They put it in Michael's hands. You know what I mean? Because he was a champion. I want to challenge you every day to look for something that challenges you. So look for that thing in your life that's going to challenge you today. And I know some of you may say, well, I can do that every day. Every day is so unique. Every day is mostly different. And you may have a job or something like that that's got a monotony and you're doing the same thing, but the day is still a little bit different. Try to find a way to make it unique. Try to find a way to make it uniquely yours and motivate yourself. Maybe you're on an assembly line, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but maybe you got 50 parts today maybe you can try to get your quality up, or maybe you can get 60 parts tomorrow. Find the way to make little days, little wins, whatever it is. But you need to find a way to motivate yourself. Guys, I hope you can get something that will motivate you. Because, see, everybody thinks they're going to arrive, and then they're going to be happy. What if it was this? What if you have to be happy where you're at to be happy in the future? What if it's not a place that you get to? What if it's about right now, where you're at, finding out how to make yourself happy where you're at and what to do every day to motivate you? One of the things that helps me is getting going and not even listening to what I have to say sometimes in my mind, just saying, look, this is what I'm going to do. Because my mind will be like, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. And sometimes it's overwhelming. If you just start, make your list and get at it. And start doing that every day in everything you do. And look at your life as an opportunity to do more things rather than try to get out of them. Try to make them better. Moving on. Don't think you have to feel like doing something to do it. I mentioned this before with, well intentions without actions sometimes are just nice thoughts. They don't bear the fruit of significant actions. Even if you don't do something great and you only do it well, you did it. It will yield more than just a thought. If you're just thinking something, well, if you don't do anything about it, then it's just a thought sometimes. Do something about it, even if it's not great. If it's just good, do it. You'll get more results than just a thought. Make a plan today and list what needs to be done and get about doing it. I've already mentioned that. Next, when the thought comes through your mind, I don't know if I want to do this. I can do it some other time. Stop and tell yourself, it is not about feeling, it's about action. Even if it's small action, guys. Just a simple statement like, I don't have to feel it. I just have to produce. Guard your mindset in the day and say no to certain things and try to keep them out of your mind. You'll have people show up, want to talk about other people. You got to realize this. When you get off track, unproductive, it throws you into an unproductive state in something else sometimes. That's a lot to be said in one mouthful of one sentence or two sentences there. What I'm trying to tell you is don't let unproductiveness catch on, and then you wind up becoming unproductive in everything. You need to weed out the unproductiveness. You need to weed out the things that would keep you from being energized, from being happy, from hitting that next level. And some of you out there may be saying, well, you just don't understand. There's so many things that are coming at me. I can't control those things. We cannot control a lot of things that come at us. But if we're lucky and we think about it and we plan it out and we're blessed, we can control in large part how we deal with it. And so I don't know how to do that. Well, I've talked about a lot of different things here. Look at the things that motivate you. Make a list. Keep the negative thoughts to a minimum and recognize those negative thoughts when they come into your mind. I can't do this. This is too much work. They're putting too much on me. That may be all true, or some of it may be true. But you are where you are right now. So start looking at it as how can you reconstruct that? See, just because you got a point that somebody shouldn't be doing something to you doesn't mean that you just stop where you're at. You have to find a way to produce and go forward. You can't just stall. Are you going to let somebody win? Are you going to let them push you down? So you got to push forward. You got to find a way to do that for yourself. You got to find a way to be happy in the moment. Now, sometimes it does mean falling back a little bit. Sometimes it means going forward. But you got to start to reconstruct those thoughts. So what do you mean reconstruct the thoughts? Well, if you're always talking about how somebody hadn't done something or they're the blame for that or this, that, or the other, when you start having those thoughts, it's going to start yielding unproductiveness. So if you hear the thought in your mind or you have a thought come through your mind that you're not good enough, well, what do you need to do to get good enough? Use it. Use it as energy. Use it as energy in a positive direction. Somebody cuts you off. How can you deal with that? Like, well, I should have done better. I should have got up there right and ready. You know what I mean? Where they couldn't do that. I should have done something. What could you have done positively? How can you take the negative, even if it's true? Somebody's yelling at you, they're not doing right to you. What can you take out of this situation to reframe it into a positive? What can you do to make it better in your life? Because a lot of times it's how we think about things. It's how we think about things. Let's say you have a car lot and somebody come by and threw eggs on all of it. How are you going to deal with that? That's bad. How can you reconstruct that? You say, well, okay, maybe I got insurance for that. I don't know if insurance would cover that or not. But maybe I can start looking at it as I'm going to get that off as soon as I can, and I'm going to just try to pick myself up and learn from the day. I'm going to put my good cars in the back, or I'm going to move it around. Try to reframe it. I'm not saying every situation is perfect. What I am saying is there a better way to look at it? So, guys, I'm going on and on in this podcast. I hope you guys ain't turning me off because I'm going on and on about it. I heard a saying one time that no one is smarter than you. They just know things that you don't. What do you need to be studying every day? Remember, you don't have to dedicate a lot of time to things. Sometimes it's just something that's just a little bit of time every day for so many days, and it adds up to weeks, and it adds up to months, and then you have a lot of time invested. See, everybody wants to cram into things. When they lose weight, they want to do a lot. When they start lifting weights, they want to lift a lot. What about the person that they don't accomplish a lot in a day, but what they do is they're consistent, and they keep going, and that person right there eventually will win. Eventually they'll win. If they keep making small progressive actions in a lot of cases, now maybe not every case, maybe they don't win every case because they probably don't. But I will tell you this, it's powerful. It's very powerful. So what is the next challenge for you guys? Sometimes the only meaning in certain things that we have is the meaning we give them. That was hard for me to accept at one point in my life. I'm coming to my grips with it even now. Balance in life is essential. Work and fun, they're a part of the situation. Work today, bills for tomorrow. But may mean in 10 years that it's just memories. That's all it is. So why should you do it? Why should you work hard? If it's in 10 years, it's not going to mean anything. Number one, you're there anyway. You just want to make the best out of the time. That's point number one. And number two, if you're more productive, you're going to be happier. So why do it? That's the two reasons. There may be more. What else are you going to do with the time? God made us to be productive, so be productive. That, I believe, is why we feel better when we accomplish more in our days. It's because he made us to be that way. When things are laid out right and we're thinking right, our mind is set up right, we're thinking good things, we're staying busy, we're going to be happier than if we wasn't. Guys, this is a long podcast. I didn't really mean for it to go this long. Maybe I don't even know how long I've went so far, but I don't want to bother you with this, but I want to make sure that you get something from it. I'm going to recap a lot here right fast. You can read this on our website, get our free newsletter, and get a lot of great content there. But let me summarize here. What you can do is, in the short run, is you do the things that you need to do to be happier in your days, to make your moments great, to make your life great. But if all you ever do is just what you have to do, then you can accept probably average results. If you invest in your future every day, or you try to, and what I mean by that, I mean investing in things that's going to yield you a return financially, investing in your health, making sure that you're eating right, getting into the gym, walking, taking some sort of exercise, making sure spiritually you're good, you're going to church, you're working on your relationship with others, with God especially. I mean, there's lots of things here. But what I'm trying to tell you is those are investments into your future. If you continually invest into your future, you'll have a lot more than if you didn't. And those 10 years, when you look back, you think, wow, this is how far we've come. So don't forget not only to enjoy the moments that you have in your life, but constantly think about 10 years down from the road. Think about 10, 15 years down the road. What do you want to accomplish ideally? What do you want to look back on and say, here's where I was. This is where I wanted to be. This is where I am now. It involves those small, consistent, daily steps, sometimes maybe not daily, but weekly or monthly or yearly, where you're investing in something. Maybe it's real estate for you. That's something I enjoy. Maybe it's something else, for you. But what I am trying to say, sometimes it's in a lot of different areas. Sometimes the reason we struggle is how we look at things, guys. We think, oh, I got to do that today, instead of, okay, I see I got to handle this situation. I got 12 other things today. I'm going to plan it. I'm going to make sure to get about it. I'm going to knock it out. Those people you're around in 15 or 20 years, they may not remember or care, but you can take advantage of these experiences. You can make them great, and you'll have a better life because of it. In large part, happiness is reconstructing how you think about things. And even people, guys, how you deal with people. We look at things and we think, oh, this person, I'm having trouble with this and this, that, and the other. Why don't you start paying attention to what that person is showing you, what they're telling you, how to deal with them effectively? Sometimes, and this is a lot, I'm paraphrasing here, guys. It's a lot in this podcast. It's right on our website. If you want to go to our website, we leave a lot of stuff right on our website, guys. And if you'll go to our free newsletter, like I said, you'll get a lot more than that, because you're going to get the PAR workbook, and I would highly encourage you to do that. Plus, you may get special content, different things like that. But I'd definitely highly encourage you to get the free newsletter. Sometimes when we think things are going wrong, you're going to get closer to something bigger. I'll tell you this, and I'm going to end in this. I'm going to try to anyway. Maybe one more point, and I'll let you go. Sometimes when things start to get super hard, you're really close. You're just inches, maybe even a foot or two away from a breakthrough. It's when it gets hard, it pushes you. It makes you think. It makes you work. It makes you study. Use it. Use the energy that you get to break through. Guys, I hope you're getting something from this. Logically, think through what you need to do next. Make a plan with action steps and get started right away. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. I know it's probably been a little bit longer. Go to Entrefied.com. It's www.entrefied.com. Guys, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.